Hi guys, and welcome to All About the Philippines. Now today I want to talk about overseas Filipino workers and just how dangerous it can be. Now a lot of unsuspecting Filipinas will finish their education, so they'll do their study, their university, get a degree, and then many of them will go looking for overseas work as an overseas Filipino worker. Now there's also plenty of men in the Philippines who go looking for work overseas, but I find that it's more dangerous for the Filipinas to be going off overseas on their own, especially when they're looking at countries in the Middle East, areas where women don't have the rights that men have in those countries. So that can become quite dangerous for the women if they're with unscrupulous employers, let's say. And there are some of them around, and you do hear these stories quite regularly where a Filipina, for instance, in a Middle Eastern country such as Saudi Arabia, has been very badly treated, sexually abused, and even in some cases been killed by their employer. As a result of these incidences over the last few years, the Philippine government has been very heavy on screening potential employers who are looking for overseas Filipino workers. But there are always unscrupulous illegal recruiters that are going on in the Philippines looking for unsuspecting Filipinas to take to places like Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries and put them to work in things like sex trade, or just to treat them very poorly over there and pay them very little. Now, I'll read a story. It's only a short story from the Filipinotimes.net online news site. It says NBI rescues 44 Pinays bound for Saudi Arabia, nabs illegal recruiter. So, luckily for these 44 Pinays, they were intercepted before they went to Saudi Arabia, and this illegal recruiter has been caught out. And you wonder what was going to happen to these 44 Pinays. What were they taking them there for? Now, I'll read the article here. It says the National Bureau of Investigation rescued 44 females from the hands of an illegal recruiter on Thursday. So this article was done on the 1st of September 2019. It then goes on to say the alleged illegal recruiter will deploy them to Saudi Arabia, but it doesn't say what they were intended to be doing there. Of course, they probably don't know that yet, because it would have been a surprise to everyone. Now, quite typically when Filipinas go and do their overseas Filipino work, it's usually around, being a nanny, or maybe a receptionist in a small business or something like that. But quite often they use them as nannies, and they don't always look after them very well. They can treat them very poorly. Sometimes they can even take their passports from them, so they can't go anywhere. So any Filipinas wanting to do this type of work, never give up your passport to anyone. The story goes on and says the NBI's anti-organised and Transnational Crimes Division raided an apartment where Crisanta Rampos, a recruiter, let the women and other potential victims stay. The 44 women came from Zamboanga and Jolo. Based on their dental records, 4 of them are minors. The NBI operation was conducted after one of Rampos's recruits tipped the deployment plan to the authorities. In an interview with ABS-CBN News, Babylon said that Rampos was forging documents in order to deploy them to Saudi Arabia. But Ragas denied all the accusations hurled against her. So the court date will come up, I guess, and all will be revealed. But that's very disturbing to think that there's some underage women there. So I'd assume that's under the age of 18. And what were they planning on actually doing with these 44 Pinays once they reached Saudi Arabia, where, remember, women have no rights. As women are considered second-class citizens in Saudi Arabia, and really men there can do whatever they like to the women. So it's quite scary, really. And then you look at all the other stories that have happened over the years, with plenty of horror stories coming out of places like Saudi Arabia. So you've got to be very careful before you go if you're a Filipina. And you've got to make sure that you're dealing with authorised employers and recruitment agencies that are authorised by the Philippines government, who have gone through all the processes to prove that they're legitimate. But even then, once you go to a place like Saudi Arabia, you have no rights there. So remember that, ladies. And as I say, never give up your passport, and always have some money set aside somewhere that you can access, or have someone get it to you easily in case you need to leave that country in a hurry. So I'm going to put a link below in the description to the Filipino Times Net news article, so you can have a read of that yourself. It's only a short one. And I'm also going to put a link in the description on the complete guide on how to become an overseas Filipino worker. So that takes you through step by step on how to do it, so you can make sure that you're dealing with legitimate recruitment agencies. So I hope that's been somewhat informative to some of you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you know anyone who's thinking about becoming an overseas Filipino worker, then certainly share this video with them and share it with all your networks. And also, if you've liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell to get more videos. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care, and bye for now.